Good
Good
evening, folks.
afternoon. How you
I
everybody
beat
doing
you.
today? You did beat me today.
Yes, sir. I wish I could watch
First
comments, but I'm
off,
not. No.
I want to say Happy Veterans Day to everybody that served, that's in the past, currently serving now. We definitely want to appreciate you guys and everything you have done for us. It is definitely appreciated more than you can ever really realize for some of us out here in the world here. But
All of
uh,
us,
definitely appreciate the big sacrifices everybody's done for us
for
through the
sure.
years.
Absolutely.
Also we got Dustin. He's it looks like he's
Yeah,
laid
I'm
up in a
still kicking.
hotel somewhere.
Man,
What
I'm
state
in.
are you
I'm
even in?
I'm in full swing hunting mode. Been through Nebraska and Kansas the last few days, but yeah, we just been chasing these deer around like crazy. But you're talking about Veterans Day. I'm also somebody that's very thankful for everybody's service. Hope
Hmm.
everybody that's tuning in that's a veteran can take a thank you from me, including I got to enjoy a day of freedom and a day of
Yep,
chasing some deer around, and something that I love to do because of you guys. So I really appreciate it as well. Very grateful.
absolutely. I see a lot of guys hitting 25K. Crappie Connection is getting out there strong tonight. I see a lot of messages.
One of these
Definitely
days it's going to
appreciate
be
that.
30, 40K crappie connection. No.
That's the goal, man. You got to keep going and going.
Yeah,
Just kind
that's
of
right.
like deer hunting. I mean, you wouldn't be
Exactly.
just always
Yeah.
satisfied with a
Yeah, you're right.
165 or whatever,
Yo, woo. Yeah, you're right.
huh? Uh, but we're going to talk about some fishing, and for us, we had our first major cold front hit Sunday night, Monday morning early, changing things up, and we're going to kind of go back from last week, or at least I am in some of my today's bite fishing reports. I'm going to kind of strike back from last week and carry on. Uh, had some clients actually were supposed to fish today, but we were decided to reschedule. But I kind of look forward to this cold front. I think it's going to help our fishing out, and I'm gonna go through that tonight and kind of tell you how I've been catching fish and kind of how I see things changing with this cooler weather. But um, for me, it's just a great time of the year. I mean, you got a lot of great holidays coming up.
Absolutely.
A lot of good fishing coming up, but also there's a little bit to do outdoors as well.
Yeah,
Dustin, so
that's right.
tell
It's
us
that
how
time of
you've
year.
been doing
Yeah.
out there. You said you've been running
Gosh.
across the country.
Yeah, yeah. I got home though. I will have a fishing report. I ran a couple trips before I came back out hunting, so that's a good thing. Got to check on Grand Lake and see how it was doing. But man, I've been just really I've had a long, hard season, but I'm glad I killed a really nice buck last night, and a buddy of mine killed a really nice buck this morning. And we're just on cloud 3,000. You know that feeling when you're
Yeah.
down in the dumps. I wounded a big deer. I don't know if I said that last time or
Yeah.
not. I think so, and just been, the highs and lows of hunting are something else. It's just like fishing. You have
Mhm.
days that are just amazing, and that's why you do it, and then you have days that just whoop you. So, hey, tonight's a good night, and I'm excited to get going with you guys.
I'm with Anthony here, Richardson. He says, "Hey, we're going to get the 300 thumbs up tonight. Right now, we're at
Oh
47, so we're
boy,
going to
we're
get it
setting a
started
big
really
old
quick."
goal. That's what I'm
So,
talking about.
Anthony's setting the bar high tonight. So, guys,
I like
definitely hit
it.
us. See if we can hit that 300. That would be thrilling. But if you served, I would love to know some of our regular or even our new people out there watching. If you've served in the military, please comment it tonight and say, "Hey, I served in the Navy" or what have you. But I would like to see everybody's done that. Um, but Dustin, tell us how your fishing was last week.
Yeah, yeah. Gosh, I had to get my new Garmin trolling motor on and get all that fixed up, and then went out. I went and scouted actually, um, and there's certain areas of the lake that are doing better than others. It's just how it works this time of year. But you were talking about personal space last show, and that is definitely what you got to be doing at Grand Lake right now. You've got to the brush piles that I'm fishing. Fish are resorted around the structure and on the bottom right now, but they're probably 25 to 30 foot deep, and you got to put the bait right on their nose.
Hmm.
I mean, it was very dramatic, like what we were talking about. And I go out there and I was like, man, Brad, you were dead on the. It's just that time of year. The water starts cooling off,
Yeah.
and you got to put it on. But the crazy part is I was using baby shad starting out, just a good the normal size baby shad, and then I went to an itty bit later just to get some more strikes. But uh, my favorite part about this year is that we didn't talk about last time is the thump when they do actually want to eat it. I was dead sticking it and holding it still and just really easing it down to them. And when you finally got a fish to fire, boy, they would knock the crap out of it. I mean, it was a good thumping bite like the good old days. So I can't complain too much. Besides, there's a lot of fish not eating right now. If you whatever
Mm-hmm.
you're finding, you got to catch a few and roll on. But you can catch a really good limit of fish at Grand Lake right now. It's just you got to work a little harder for them. The size average was great. I think if you move more towards the dam, you're going to get into smaller fish, a lot of numbers, and to catch your limit. But I mean, if you like to stay busy, that's a good area of the lake. And then more towards the river, you got better sized fish, but they're just a slower bite. So you can pick your poison right now, and I think the depths are anywhere from 12 to 30 foot deep too. So the fish are all
Yeah.
doing in different stages. You got some still in the summer, some in the fall, and some in the winter. They're all kind of doing. I even found some
Mm-hmm.
Roman fish. Caught a few Roman fish. I mean, it's like you can pick what you want to do right now
Mm-hmm.
and go catch a mess of them. But they were biting a jig. It was kind of starting to pick up. I expect in another couple weeks that the fishing's going to start taking off and getting pretty good. It's got to
What
slow
bait was you
down.
using and such?
Man, I started out with bleeding shad. That's a good winter bait for me, and
Mm-hmm.
blue ice. Both of those are really good for clear
Yeah.
water wintertime fishing. I use those a lot. So blue ice and bleeding shad was my go-to bait for sure.
And I thought about last week a lot, and I fished last Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I think it was. The bite to me is transitioning straight into a wintertime bite almost. I
Yeah.
see a few fish on structure, but most of ours are actually up roaming. The ones on structure, they were more lethargic, and the ones out feeding seem to be the ones suspended for the most part. I had one bait that really shined, and actually, it's been my cover color for the last couple of weeks now, and it's the double silver rainbow, the itty bit
Oh
slab
yeah.
hunter.
You said that
It's
last week too.
just,
It's still
yeah,
shining, ain't it?
it
Yep.
definitely is, and for us was dropping that bait down there and letting that fish realize it. For me, it's either how I like to do it at that point, trying to get a fish's attention. I want to know that the fish has seen it. And what I mean by that, typically, if I hold that jig around and I'm gonna see if the fish will naturally see it. Sometimes last week we had to keep it on them for up to 2 minutes. Seemed like I
Oh yeah.
tap the pole, and just kind of shake it real violently to make that jig twitch. And you'd see that fish kind of flash, and either they would turn up and come get it, or they would turn down and leave it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it gave me an idea. Hey, the fish saw the bait. It's made a decision. It's not interested, or it was interested and would
Or go
come
to
up
the
and
next.
bite it.
Yeah,
We had
there was some fish at Grand that I would drop down on and hold it over the top of them just like that, and they'd kind of turn up not to be interested, and I would just lower it into them, and they would just reaction just
Yeah.
blast it. Normally, I'd never get a bite dropping it to them, but I got some fish just easing it down slower and slower to them, and they would just pop it. And I normally don't get bites like that, but that's something else to try this winter. If you guys are having some picky fish, just keep easing the bait down to them, and sometimes they just I don't know if they just run out of having a choice or what, and it's just they have to pop it to get out of the way. But I caught a few fish doing that, a few really nice ones.
Another thing I wanted to mention, last year we did a lot of predictions, and I want to see if anybody actually nailed it on the head. Dustin told me before the show started tonight that he was really close of
Oh,
nailing it.
so close. Yes, I was so
I
close.
I said last week I
You
felt
called a
really
big weight. You called a big
it was
weight.
going to be a big weight coming from Ross
Yep.
Barnett last week, and sure enough, it actually exceeded my expectation. Trent Goff won it with 1680,
Yeah.
and guys. The math, I hadn't done it, but that's over 2.5 pound average, isn't it? Let's see.
All right. Let me see real
It's
quick.
close.
You bet. Let's see.
Some
1680.
some heavy weights coming in. I
Two
saw this fish
240
last week.
average. 240 average.
240.
Yeah,
I,
maybe I can't remember what I want to say.
I
I
don't
guess
believe.
16 something, but I got to look back and see what it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna see. I think I was close. Dustin thinks we were both close.
Yeah,
I knew it was gonna take
yeah.
some heavy weights.
I'm just trying to take credit for something.
1680 is a 240 average.
Yeah,
I didn't. Hmm.
that's a. I mean,
So
that's crazy. That's
that's
crazy.
studs. That's
Could you
and I
do that
think he
at
had all
Grenada right now?
blackfishes
Could you
right.
even do that at Grenada right now?
Yeah,
I
you
don't
could
know.
do it at Grenada right now.
You think so?
Yeah, these
Yeah.
fish are starting to really fatten up. I see
Fatten
a lot
up.
of fish
Yeah.
starting to put on eggs. I had a client last week ask me, is it going to be a fall this spawn because these fish are starting to develop eggs and put them on? I said, no,
That fall
they're getting
spawn
ahead of the
going.
game. They're
Yeah.
coming.
I did notice at Grand actually a few egg sacs started already as
Mhm.
well. Yeah, and their shoulders and backs really start swelling this time of year too. They just start feeding up like crazy.
Yeah.
For sure.
But for me, I really concentrated on open water fish and a lot from, I'm gonna say 16 to 35 foot of water to really find the numbers of fish. I could get on the edges and catch a little bit more, but a lot of the bait was over in that area.
I don't know if Brad disappeared or I did. I'm gonna hang out and see. Everything just went.
To really make them tighten up. Was
There
that
he is.
me or you?
I don't know. You guys let us know who disappeared there, because if Brad disappeared, then we just missed this whole entire deal there. If not, then I was gone. So
Let's
we'll
see who it
see.
was.
It seems like you're glitching out quite a bit, so I'm thinking it might be you.
I guess going off tonight.
Man, I'm losing you
But yeah,
bad.
am I bad or are you bad?
Yeah.
Who's
Well,
bad?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question.
Let me
Who's
get my
bad?
phone off.
Hey, I'm never bad. Now, come on.
I'm on now. All right, I hear it's you just by the comments. I think
Okay,
it's
that
you.
makes me feel better. Okay,
Oh,
there we
no, I
go.
seen Brad. Okay,
Okay.
Brad went out. What I was going to say was that cooler weather is going to make the shad bunch up tighter. That right now they're scattered out from the really shallow to deeper water. They're going to be really spread out. This colder weather is going to make them bunch up in an area more. Brad
Gotcha.
faded away. I guess it was me.
Yeah,
Hopefully, did I come
you're
through?
it's coming through. I'm hearing you. You're glitching out a lot, but I don't know. You know how it is. Internet. I got full bars for once. I'm actually good on the Wi-Fi, I believe. So we'll see.
So I think this cool weather is actually going to help us out. It's going to make
Yeah,
that shad population start bunching up, and they're wanting to huddle, and just like anything else, as it gets colder, they're going to bunch up and try not to move as much and try to start conserving energy
yeah,
and group it together to be more of just safer. They'll
yeah.
get tighter and tighter to get
Safer in
safer in
numbers.
area.
Yeah,
Safe.
for sure. Yeah, I also I starting to see that on Grand as well. Just balls of shad. It's starting to get wintertime eat pattern, but you run into the dang crappie doing the same thing, getting
Hmm.
lethargic and trying to conserve energy. That's why the bites like it is. You have to put the bait on them and just beg them to bite because they're just not in super crazy exciting mode when it gets cold.
I
We've
know
had
I
a
seen.
warm spell come by though. That's kind of firing them up.
Yeah, and what's happening? You'll get those fish balled up together, and all of a sudden you get those warmer temperatures, and they throw their metabolism up and say, "Hey, we need to
Yeah,
get back
yeah,
feeding."
exactly.
We
Yeah, it's
got to
spring
get it
again.
going.
Better
It's
get that
spring again.
springtime. Yeah, they've been having some crazy weather this year. I don't know how they function with it. One day it's summer, one day it's spring, one day it's winter time.
Hmm. Mr. Charles Henderson, he said he fished last Thursday, and he's talking about the res. Seven big fish weighed 15 pounds, 12 foot of water on stumps. Electric chicken. Electric chicken was my color like 2 weeks ago up there as well.
Yeah,
Um,
electric chicken.
Calvin Anderson, he said tournament on our home lake and fish were scattered and most bigger fish were caught really shallow. Calvin, is that a lot of blackfish, whitefish? What do you got in that lake there? I want to go back to Anthony. I think I've seen a report from him as well.
Yeah, Anthony usually that's a good one.
Yeah, Brandon Thomas. Let's see what
Spathanol
Brandon's.
or Hudson.
Hudson, fish
But spat.
Lake
Oh,
Hudson River area today. Water temperature is 60 degrees. Found black crappie on submerged laydowns in 12 to 20 foot of water. Very aggressive bite today. I love those
sweet.
aggressive bites.
Yeah, I like to
Dustin was
hear
saying
that.
about that.
Yeah, yeah. Hudson ain't far from me at all, but I'm glad to hear that he's whacking them on there too. He's been beating the heck out of big old crappie lately. I've been seeing his stuff.
Yeah, it
Ought to be against the law for all the fish he's been catching.
Pap said the res was going to be 29 degrees in this area tonight. Last week my water temperatures were in the low 60s. Um, Last Friday was a good example. I set down an area. We had projected a lot of wind last Friday. We didn't get all that much. It started out a little bit windy. Um, so I really planned on, all right, what area of the lake could I fish some deeper water and still be protected? First stop I stopped in, this just seemed like it was crappie scattered everywhere, and a lot of them were
Oh
as
man.
shallow as 8 foot, all the way to
Jeez.
24 foot deep. And you'd pick out a fish, and you just follow in back behind them. But for me, the
Will the shallow
profile was
fish
probably
bite better or deeper?
no, it really didn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter. Wow.
We could catch them just as deep as long as the bait. To me, the factor was it had to stay in front of them
Yeah.
for and getting that personal space. We talked about the personal space of crappie fishing and what does it mean. And uh, all last week after today's bite even was getting into that crappie's personal space and letting them say, "All right, I like the looks of that bait," or "No, I don't," and they would leave or either eat it. I
So you're
really feel
chasing
like
Roman fish mainly. Roman fish
I'm
out there.
chasing mainly open water, Roman fish, and it
Yeah.
seems like the bite's better for me than that
Good.
shallower fish.
That's
But
some fun fishing.
right now we're a third of the way there, a little over a third. We got 110 thumbs up likes between the two platforms. Got a little ways to go, but we're gonna get it done.
Oh yeah, we can get that.
We're
We're
gonna
a
get it
third of the way
done.
through the show, and we're a third of the way to our goal. So y'all
Yeah.
keep it
So
up now. Smack that like button. They say smash it.
smash it. So you're gonna be back on Grand, or where you gonna fish the rest of the week?
Yeah, I'll be back on Grand starting probably at the end of this week. Maybe even a couple days from now. I'll be on Grand, Lord willing, and I'll be chasing them around. I'll probably check all through the lake and see. I'll have a better fishing report next week. I checked a small area, and that was a report. Brush piles were doing good, but like I said, you could find fish doing a little bit of everything, and the bite was decent. So I think there's better bite though out on the lake. Just need some more time. Need to quit doing this deer hunting.
You should be tagged out by now.
I know. I'm almost there. I've got one deer down, and now I got to get the wife one. She told me it's time for me to get home and get her one. So we'll see.
She might leave you a bow and let
Yeah, yeah. Oh boy.
her go
Well,
out hunting.
if
I
she
mean,
leaves me with middle little man, yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness, yeah. Don't be saying that out loud, Brad. Yeah, this year is a
okay.
lot different with little man and hunting season. We can't just up and take off, but I can't wait
Hmm.
for him to be old enough to go with us.
Danny, he's got a few fishing trips I had last week before cold front. Was the fish was still in timber, and when you found big fish in a tree, it was all big fish, and when you found a tree with small fish, they were all small. So they were kind of
That's
segregating out.
awesome.
Sounded like
Yeah.
for him.
I've seen that happen before. Certain lakes will be,
Hmm.
you find a school of fish, and if it's a big one, they're all big. And then certain schools that are, if they're small, you just go to the next. That's pretty cool.
I know Dalco. He fished the tournament last weekend, but Dalco, I would like to hear what your pattern was. What did you see? Was it anything different than I did, Mr. Charles? Some of the guys that fished them in the lake that I did last week. Um, I'd like to know how similar we were. That's always so interesting to me. Is uh, we all fish differently, but it's about seeing those similar patterns all across the United States and the different
Oh
bodies of
yeah.
water. But also, you say sometimes you'll hear somebody that's caught them totally different than you on the same body of water.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I see that at Grand being such a big lake all the time. The fishing reports are so different of whoever you ask, depth and everything.
Hmm. Lee, he said limit on Okeechobee last Thursday. Roman fish in 12 to 16 foot of water. Color really didn't matter. First time using the power brakes. And all I'll say is he got the slogan right, game changer. I know Lee even texted me about it, and he said, "Man, it's a game changer." I'm like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, he nailed the name for him for sure.
Yeah, yeah. The brakes are a must in the crappie fishing world. I actually need to get a pair set on mine before spring.
You don't have him on your new boat?
No, I don't yet, Brad. Don't remind me. I've got the power pole and drift paddles, but not the brakes, and I got to get them brakes for that big boat for sure.
I know longline and bite's been good in some of the local lakes around here as well. And
What about
you
Eagle
know,
Lake? Have you heard anything on it?
well, I heard the longline bite was actually pretty good over there, but
Bless you.
it probably hurt it a little bit today. Um, but by the end of the week, the temperatures are going to go back in the 70s again here, so it could really ignite it again. Let's see. Well, here's an Eagle Lake here. Joshua. He said, I fished Eagle Thursday and Saturday, caught the limit Saturday. Fish were are super spooky. And that water's probably pretty clear for Mississippi water standards too, typically in the wintertime, fall, what have you. Probably 3 to 4 foot visibility, but they're spooky here as well. And for us, it's all about spotting a fish, having that boat control, and trying not to actually, start hitting your brakes or your trolling motor once you're trying to do that presentation. Because for me, if you did that, it was over with. That fish was just spooked and gone. So they've been spooky on the res as well. Plus, I think we had, of course, a tournament in town, and those guys were all out there pre-fishing as well. Kind of made them a little bit more spooky as well, probably. But Anthony's got a question for you guys. He said, "How do you fish the different body of itty bit baits?" And he's talking about the itty bit mayflies, the
Yeah.
slab hunters, the swimmers. And I know Dustin uses a slab slayer a lot in
Slab
itty bit.
Slayer a lot, yeah. Especially this time of year, I like to use the Slab Slayer, but the Slab Slayer I use when they're super lethargic and you just don't want much movement with the bait compared to like a Slab Hunter or stuff with a little paddly
Mhm.
tail. That's kind of all I use it for. And when the Slab Slayer, you're holding it and you do your rod tapping, it makes that
Mhm.
tail really go crazy. So you can use
Yep.
it for both. So I do like the itty bit Slab Slayer. There's times for it for sure. My
Yeah.
one of my favorite colors this time of year for that is the black and is it hot pink?
Yep.
Black hot pink. Yeah, that's a deadly slab slayer itty bit right there.
Yeah. That's definitely a really good
Mhm.
color. Even they have it in double silver rainbow.
Yeah. Oh, I've used that a lot too. Some of the murkier Kansas lakes I fish, I'll drop that as well.
Have you
But yeah,
seen a
the
lake?
slab hunter you can still drop straight down, but it's good for casting too. Pitching by them, it's got the
Mhm.
little paddly tail, and then the slab slayer I like to drop straight down. And then I mean you have the swim R's, don't they have itty bit swimmers?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and that would be kind of the same thing. It's like a little baby shad, a mini baby shad.
Mhm.
So if you're wanting less action, I'd go with those two besides the slab hunter. The slab hunter just gives you a little bit more on the tail.
Yep. And um, I like the slab hunter, and I use it more than any other of the beta
I'd say I would
the
too.
80
I
bit
did too.
series.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I feel like I need to go smaller than that, I think the itty bit, like you said, the slab
Slab
slayer, and
slayer.
also
Yeah.
the itty bit mayfly series. It just and I'm gonna hold the two up for comparison reasons here, but this is the itty bit mayfly, and you know you get to fish that's been pressured, or even like some of these. You can see
Yeah.
even the
There you go.
size difference in those
See,
baits.
and I love them tiny little baits. Yeah, that's good stuff.
A very hard bite, that itty bit mayfly is definitely a good one to give it a shot. And I like using the mayfly series a lot if they have any kind of bruised or bloody lips, because that feels like, in my mind at least, those fish are
Mm-hmm.
pecking something off of wood,
Yep.
rocks, wood, or anything else. But whenever I see them got any kind of bruising or blood marks on their face, I like to really concentrate on the mayfly series. Dalco, he said bigger fish for me were on super deep stumps, 18 to 22 foot deep. A lot of guide fish roaming in the river under shad. I can see that. I noticed a pattern last week on big fish on the res, that I thought that a lot of the bigger fish were in the mid lake south. And not even the bigger fish. I thought the heavier um, fish were mid lake
Healthier
south,
fish.
and
Yeah.
just fatter fish were in that mid lake south. And I thought the area of the lake with the wind, which it did, was in the middle of the lake. Um, I talked to Trent right after he won it Saturday night, and I was like, "Man, tell me the beans of it." And he said that he fished one stump for 6 hours.
Holy smokes, you're kidding me.
One stump for 6 hours, and that's how he. I think he caught 6 of his 7 fish off that one stump.
6 or 7 fish?
6 of his 7 fish off of one
Oh,
stump. He sat on
what
that
in
one stump for
so there was just a
six
stack of
hours.
fish on a stump,
Yeah,
and he
and it
just
was
worked on them.
sat there and just kept up after him. And
That's unbelievable. That's crazy.
Mudfish, he said, I've been longlining shallow lakes off the St. Johns River in Florida the last couple of weeks, and the bite has been strong. St. John's is definitely a great area to go down there and longline, but man, they've got some big old blackfish down there, and I believe every we weighed in, I know 6 of the 7 were, if not all 7, were all blackfish on the res, um,
Jeez.
which was not shocking either to me. You know, that population of blackfish on the reservoir seems to me either you catch them, really small, or you're gonna catch some really big ones.
Hmm. Did Blackfish win it, you said?
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. That would be so fun to win a tournament with them big old blackfish like that.
Mhm.
That's crazy. I wonder if did you ask if he pitched to him, cast to him, or he sat
Well, he
on
sat
top
there
of?
for 6 hours. So I think
Yeah,
he's probably did everything he could to get him to bite, but,
you're right.
you know, um, Pat Robbins, he says, we explain the advantages and disadvantages of using a 0-degree LS transducer mount. Yeah, I
Hmm.
think we both can describe that
Yeah.
for you, Pat.
Hmm. You go ahead, Brad.
I,
I'll,
I would say if you're starting out with LiveScope, I would recommend using the factory mount that comes with your LiveScope. That beam's just a little bit wider. What you're seeing on your screen is going to pick them up a little better, and it's going to pick your baits up a little bit quicker, in my opinion. Now, 0-degree, that beam is getting thinner. Instead of being offset, it's going to be straight 0, and the other one's 8-degree, if I remember correctly. So you've got to be a
yeah.
little bit finer on seeing your bait. Starting out, I would go to the factory, and as I got more comfortable with live scope and more confident with it, I would convert over to the 0-degree. It's just like we're talking about earlier. Is some of the fish that we caught last week, literally the bait was sitting on their nose out in open water for 2 minutes,
Hmm.
and fish would swim around. And you're like, all right, I got to keep it so close to this fish and let them recognize it and make that determination if they want to bite it or not. But a 0-degree is more when you're fine tuning and getting that bait super close to them too.
Yeah, yeah. I had a 0 degree on my last boat, and once you get used to that, you really get
Hmm.
dialed in and can drop your bait on stuff a lot deeper, a lot easier too. Because when you
Yeah.
have the eight degree trolling motor or the live scope, when you throw your bait out and say you throw it straight at the front of where you're pointed, and by the time it goes down, you're missing it. So your bait will disappear where you're actually looking. If that makes sense, it's so hard to explain, but you're throwing it right where you point, and now
Hmm.
your angle is missing it. So if you do straight, then you can see right where you're throwing, and you'll see your bait when it goes down deeper. You'll see your bait like the first 10, 15 foot, and then it disappears. You're like, why do I keep missing it when it goes
Yeah.
deeper? So the 0 degree saves that for deep water fishermen. It's a must. But I've been fishing with an 8 degree on this new one, and you can get used to it. You just have to pitch over a little bit, whichever way you're looking, and kind of
Yeah.
feel for what you have, whatever system you have. You just kind of work with it and figure out what's comfortable. But I'll be switching to a 0 degree as soon as I can.
Yeah, and you
It'll
get
drive
used
you
to it
nuts. If you bet.
because, like you said, you'll start out with a dropping those deep
Perfect
fish at
shot.
30
Yeah.
feet. You'll be
Yeah.
like, all right, I see the bait, and all of a sudden it
Yeah. Gone.
disappears.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got that 8 degree. Well, you're like, all right, I've got to kick it over to the left or what have
Yeah.
you. And then all of a
Mhm.
sudden it's going to reappear because it's hitting that beam as it gets deeper and deeper. It's,
Mhm.
it's all about training your mind. That's really how live scope is. And I tell everybody every day is whatever your brain's telling you at first is probably not accurate. See, our bites are pretty soft and they're quick. I mean, these fish spit these baits really quick. And we feel probably about maybe 1/3 of the bites right now, and I
Wow,
tell
yeah, you
people
have to
you've
watch it.
just about gotta time it. It's
Mhm.
kinda like baseball, somebody slings a strike
100
to
mile per
you,
hour. Yeah.
you've gotta you gotta start your swing before that ball's over the base, or you're
Yeah,
gonna be out every single time.
for sure.
And some with this is the same thing. I'm trying to time these fish's bites. So as soon as I see them make a lunge, I'm wanting to set the hook at that point because there's going to be some delay in that
Yeah.
system.
Yep. I almost sometimes when I'm doing that is almost a pressure set, like you're almost checking it. Do you ever do that? Like
Hmm.
Just raise
Mm-hmm.
it, and if it's there, then you give it to them. So the first little part, I'm just checking to see if the pressure's there, because that's more of a pressure bite, I would say for sure.
Roy said caught several 2-pound fish on small stumps, Macmillan Lake. Roy, you just spilled the beans. That was definitely in my area as well last week. James, let's see. Limit on blackfish Saturday. Big fish suspended in schools, 15 to 17 foot,
Ooh.
62-degree water using Glacier, Diamond Mist, the
Oh
Shadow,
man,
Baby Shad, headed to Lake Seminole tomorrow. James, man, I
that's
can't wait to
awesome.
hear that report as well down
Yeah,
there.
Diamond Mist and Glacier are two really good clear water baits for Grand as well. Really good baits.
Here's a good question. Ricky's asking, he said, hook eyelets. Any suggestions on keeping lime from slipping out of the eyelet?
Yeah,
And uh, you can elaborate
I have.
all about it as well.
Yeah, I've had some hooks I've had that happen to. What I'll end up doing if you like the jig heads you're using, if you're stuck on them or whatever hooks you're using and you really like the way they work, but the eyelets, your line keeps sliding out of the eyelets, I will take pliers and just squeeze that eyelet shut a little bit more. There's a little gap where your line's coming out of that. I just squeeze it with pliers and shut it a little bit more, and then you won't have to worry about it as much. And then just make sure your knot is kind of on the opposite side, but you can't really help it much unless you just close that gap. So that's something I do, and it seems to work great for me. I have some jig heads and hooks that I like. I have to close sometimes
Hmm.
to not make them slip. Braided line does it terrible. It just has
Hmm.
no give, no stretch to it.
I would ask you a couple questions when it comes to that as well, Ricky. One, are you using painted jig heads? Unpainted jig heads are way notorious as far as having that eyelet not all the way closed, like Dustin was describing.
Hmm.
But and I'm gonna try to get it. You see this eyelet right here as it's a painted sickle style overbite. I think it's a 1/32 ounce. But you can see how the paint comes all the way to the bottom of that eyelet. Unpainted, you would see actually where that
The
loop
gap.
around that wire is
Yeah.
still not always attached, and you do need to crimp it down. But also, what you can do is double up your line on your knot. If you're even using let's say a loop knot, sometimes if you have a really big loop, make that loop smaller. And other than polymer knot, you actually run that line through there twice in it, Dustin.
Yeah, yeah, Palomar knot, you run twice. I was gonna say that.
Mm-hmm.
A tight Palomar knot helps a little bit, but I've
Mm-hmm.
still had them slip out. You gotta either shut that thing or figure out different knot or whatever.
Anthony says, do you guys increase or decrease your bait size this time of year? I'm gonna do them both. It kind of
Yeah.
depends on how aggressive the bite is. You
Hmm.
know, if I get an aggressive bite, I absolutely love the full size slab hunters this time of year,
Hmm.
especially if you're having trouble, with hook sets. These fish, whenever they hit this bigger style bait, they're gonna hit it a lot harder than they would a small bait. The
Yep.
biggest disadvantage of using a small bait for me is the bites typically is lighter. If I can get with a bigger style bait, I'm gonna use it every time because I feel like that bite's just a lot harder
Yeah.
the fish will do.
I'm a big small bait guy and always have been, but there's a time and place I love to use a big bait. But this time of year, I'm gonna start downsizing because the fish are getting lethargic, everything's getting cold, and it's slowing down just like we are. I would slow down your presentation and get a smaller size. I'm gonna go with an itty bit, probably 9 times out of 10 this time of year through the
I'm
winter time.
looking back Bayou's. Okay, I see your question now. Bayou State Outdoors. He says, "Why isn't longlining that good in fall?" P.S. I'm done with Mississippi Rock Expos. I can understand that if they're still connected to the river, they can be really tough. It can be really good this time of year as far as long line, and it really depends on how aggressive the bite is. I think
Yeah,
you've
where
got to be
you're at.
really versatile. Some of the best long lining that I've done year as far as months would be in November and December for the most part. And it's typically, big cold fronts in the area for a little while, and all of a sudden you get a gradual warming trend or just a good stable period, and those fish turn on and they're get a really aggressive. That's when long lining can be lights out. Probably the funnest tournament I ever fished was in December on Eagle Lake about 15 years ago. Uh, you know, and mind you, I had 28 fish over 2 pounds during that tournament, and I don't know how
Jeez.
many keepers in the boat, but at that time we were only allowed to use 6 poles as we were trolling, and there was 3 different times that we had all 6 poles with fish on them at once.
Mm-hmm.
That
So
just
it can
don't
be good.
happen.
It's all in a matter of
It can be
timing and
great,
where you're
you
at.
know.
Yeah, yeah,
It,
for
it,
sure.
some guys even still pull crankbaits this time of year. Typically, I've never done all that great on crankbaits, you know, under 80-degree water, but I know guys that have done great, and that's just what they do. But for me, long lining can be absolutely great. It just depends on, the fish, what they allow you to do.
Yeah,
And the trip that I had scheduled to take tomorrow was a trip that had some clients that wanted to troll. And right after this big cold front, I told them, I was like, look, we can go fishing, and I think we could catch fish with a longbow with LiveScope. I don't think we probably catch a really good catch tomorrow long lines, so I rescheduled them. Uh, Now, at the end of the week, by Friday, that might be fantastic.
yeah, yeah,
But just directly after this cold front, I don't have that much confidence until this water kind of stabilizes and starts doing a slow, warming trend even.
yeah, yeah. I know that feeling all too well. This
It's
weather will
part
get
of it.
you. Yep. Well, I think our water temp was 60 last time I was there, so I'd imagine it's
Yeah.
even colder after the cold front we got. I bet it's high
Hmm.
50s.
Let me go on down here. Make sure I'm not messing any questions. Okay. Jeff, he's asking, what length rod do you recommend when single pole vertical fishing? Does a couple feet actually help on spooky fish? Absolutely, I think it helps
Yeah, yeah, it
on
has to
spooky
help.
fish.
Yeah. On spooky fish, I'm going with as long I mean, if it's really, really matters and I'm not just catching a mess for me and a meal, because I like to fish comfortable. But if I'm fishing a tournament and there's big fish that are super spooky, I'm going with an 18-foot rod. But if it's just I'm fishing for a mess of fish and they're like some of them are spooky, some of them are not, I'd go with a 13 to 16-foot rod. So it always just depends on what scenario we're at. But 9 times out of 10, I'm using a 13 to 16-foot rod. There's
Hmm.
a there's several in the power fishing lineup that have perfect rods for fishing vertical, but a 13-foot trident, a 15-foot ghost, or an 18-foot or a 16-foot K rod, all those are super good for
Yep.
just fishing what you just explained. But man, I'd say I use a 13-foot probably the most around where there's not spooky fish. So that I
Hmm.
mean, and Brad, I know you go with an 18, don't you? 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I probably use a 16-foot day in and day out more. And if I get to really extreme spooky fish
yeah,
and they're running a lot,
you're breaking it
I'm gonna
out, ain't
switch over to an 18-foot black diamond then.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, but it definitely helps. And you know, dingier water, shallower water, that longer ride's going to help you out
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
Now,
And you're gonna get spooky fish. If they wanna be spooky, they're gonna be spooky, but what I would
mhm,
recommend if you don't like fishing a super long rod and it's hard to get used to, change the way you're coming to the fish. Slow
yeah,
everything way down. Don't be pushing your trolling motor all the way to the fish, and then hitting your brakes real hard. If you see a fish 60, 70 foot out there, just start floating and coasting to him and try that. Like, see, kind of change your approach to him before you start using that long wieldy rod, because sometimes it can be tougher than just kind of going at the fish a little bit
mhm.
different presentations, I guess. Some fish like the bait pushed to them, and some fish like to drop straight down or swung by them. Like you can try different presentations of bait too before the fish spook.
Well, we got Trent. He said, "What's up, fellas? What's
Uh
up there?"
oh, he's in the house. He's the champ. The champ's in here. The champ's here.
He even told me Saturday he was kind of shocked he had that kind of stringer. But um, Trent, Dustin asked a question a little bit ago about what
Oh
presentation
yeah, yeah.
help
With the
you
stump you sit
win.
at, yeah, the stump you sit at 6 hours, man. You got to tell me, were you pitching to him or dropping straight down? I'm sure Brad's right. You probably tried a little bit of everything, but what was the key to get him to bite? I bet you went through a lot of baits too. I know that feeling. Been there, done it. I bet he ended up using something small, really, really small, or he went with that live bait.
Well, he even mentioned earlier that smallmouth, small baits, little
Hmm.
mouse, little baits, and I know he's talking about the black crappie as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Mike Martin, thank you for the 25K crappie connection. If you missed the beginning, I want a special thanks again to all the veterans out there, guys. We really appreciate it. Um, you know,
absolutely.
we couldn't do and live the country we have without all the sacrifices you guys have made for us. So definitely thank you for everybody that's past, currently, and maybe even future going to serve for us. So that's great.
Sure.
Let's see. Mr. Charles, he says, I use a 13-foot ACC when pitching to him and a 16-foot black diamond with vertical jigging. And it gets out there is like what fits your personality.
Oh
And
yeah,
there's so many great questions out there, or so
yeah.
many great polls out there as well.
Oh yeah. There's an endless number of really good fishing rods and out there and everything. But Charles, I would recommend you go red, buddy. Try you some of them red rods.
um, the sonar sticks, we mentioned those last week,
Yeah.
and after the show, I got on there and actually found them and found where you could order them from, and I've got some on the way to me right now, so I'm gonna test
Oh
them out.
snap. Oh snap. Did you get the half
Uh,
ounce?
I got quarter and half ounce. I've been using a lot of 3/8 here lately, and with the
Yeah.
smaller profile baits, I like using as small as lead as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I've got some half ounce and quarter ounce coming in, and
Yeah, I'm
I think
excited.
they've
I'm
heard
excited.
about the suggestion on the 1 ounce. So we'll
Oh,
see how it
sweet.
goes.
Yeah. Oh, hey, they go 1 ounce. I'm buying me a bulk of them bad boys because that'd be the way. Uh, but I think I'm excited for you to try them and see your honest opinion on them because everybody fishes different and likes different stuff. But I think this is a pretty. They're going to be pretty handy deal.
Hmm. Um, there's Trent. He says, dropping straight down, tail hooked a minnow. Patience was key. I made a change pre-fish and went from 12 to 6 pound line. I swear it helped.
Oh,
I do
absolutely.
not doubt that.
I believe it for sure. Trent, I'm a firm believer. I've seen a couple times lighter rod and clearer rod. There's like this Banish line I've tried for super clear water fish, and it makes a difference. I don't care what we say. Like when LiveScope first come out, they're like, "Oh, you could use rope." They don't see the line.
Hmm.
That man, I've seen it. I've seen it work too many times. They see a little something sometimes. If they're in a super bad mood, then that line does make a difference.
Eric, he says, fish report from central Illinois. The water temps have dropped to the mid 40s. High winds the past
Woo!
couple of days have made
Woo!
it near impossible to get on the water. The bite hasn't been the best it's been all year. Larger fish are still open water, but
Man,
some are moving to structure. 15 foot of water. Great show. Well, thank you. Great
that
comment
was
and great
perfect.
report as well.
Yeah, great report and comment. I cannot believe your water's that cold, first of all. And second of all, the best bite of the year when the water's that cold. That's crazy. Few lakes around here when it gets that cold is just lights out bite. So that's fun when you can go catch them in the winter like that, for sure.
um, Also, I see where Bayou State asked about the hat, and I think Dustin's got a new style hat on as well.
Yeah,
A lot of the new merch is available on LureNet as well. Dustin, what should they use?
yeah. Crappie Connection 15. No spaces, just like I said it. Crappie Connection 15. And that'll give you 15% off of everything, not just this stuff. It'll be the baits and everything we're talking about are on that website. And I've caught myself in there getting out of hand. So you guys be careful when you get in there and get to shopping. There's all kinds of fishing stuff in there. It's like the Disney World for fishermen.
Yeah, he said Bobby Mann's heard of a new 20-foot coming out.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, that
And
is a.
18's a lot. I don't know if I could handle a 20 foot. I mean, you'd find a way, but boy, 18's a lot. I mean, I think that's about as far as we're getting
You gotta
comfortably.
be
You
tough.
got
I would
you got to be
imagine
a
too.
man to hold that
You
18
gotta be
all day
tough.
long for sure. It'll tear your shoulder up.
But I can see
No
where,
doubt.
spooky fish, the further away from the boat, the more you can control that boat slap,
Mm-hmm.
the shadow. I thought last week that seemed like one morning that I was like coasting to the fish. I thought the boat was set up perfectly. The bait's coming to them. uh,
Boom.
and all of a sudden the fish just scattered
Yeah,
all of a sudden, and I'm
yeah.
like, all right, what could
Your
have
big old
possibly went
barge.
wrong there?
Yeah,
And I think it was the shadow of the boat
yeah.
coming over that
I've
fish
seen it
all of a
happen.
sudden.
Yeah, and if you picture it, imagine them fish.
Yeah.
I've been down noodling before, and you can feel when your eyes closed and everything. You can feel when the boat comes over the top of you. I mean, it's insane how much the shade and everything. You just feel the coolness. It's crazy. So I can imagine those fish feel it incredibly too, and they will definitely spook from it. I've seen it. That's the
Um,
first thing I look at when I spook a fish, and it just don't make sense. I'll turn around, the sun's to my back, and then I'm like, "Yep, my shadow of my boat got him."
Here's Trent. He's throwing out some of these nuggets
Oh,
tonight,
good. Come
guys.
on, give us some tidbits here.
He said, found the liveliest minnow I could find, hooked it on a 32nd ounce naked jig, had a 1/8 ounce weight above it, about 24 inches
Yep,
above the hook. Hold it as still as
24.
possible and let the minnow do the work. Other bait
Yeah,
was the itty bit. Not sure the name of the color. It was a black with an orange tail. Worked good.
I
Um,
bet that. I bet that was fried shad. That's exactly what it was. I bet
mhm.
fried shad slab hunter. That's one of my favorites too. But the way he's talking about the 24 inches of having his weight is, I guarantee he didn't want them fish seeing that weight, because if your fish are super picky, you got to move that weight up sometimes, or they'll pick that off and not like to come up and eat. So I've been on the 24-inch mark before many a times. Just I grab that weight, I get so frustrated and just slide it way up. It just looks crazy, but it works. That's awesome.
And I played around with some of the weights last week as well, and a great tidbit as well, as far as even Trent saying he moved it 24 inches above it. One of the reasons I like moving it that far above, and last week probably my standard was around 18 to 20 inches. I don't know about 24, maybe,
Hey, yeah, it
but it
happens.
it, it allowed that bait to be more natural. And I was
Yeah,
using a 1/32 ounce all last week with the itty bit slab hunter, and I had an orange one out. Oh, here it is. And I'll show you the exact setup that I used all last week. And it's still tied on my pole at the moment, but was this 1/32 ounce overbite orange. I just love that. Uh,
imagine that.
that guy there
Hmm.
was the
What was your weight above it?
uh 3/8,
Three
and it was
eighths
about
ounce.
20 inches. And if I got too,
Wow.
we set the hook a couple times, and that weight slides down.
Yep.
Um, and I don't. It just. I think it controls and limits that bait movement down there a little bit. So I
Yeah.
like getting it as far up above them as I can as well.
It definitely gives it more of a natural fall. I mean, you're talking a tough bite when you have to slide that weight that high and let everything just really float around them. But if it works, it works.
Danny, no, we've hit 300 views. We're at 171 likes right now, so we need some likes and some thumbs up, guys. So make sure
Well,
you hit that
we got to
button
at
for you
least
if you
get the
can.
250. If we don't get the 250, then Brad's
Dustin's
gonna
gonna
have
have
to
to.
shave his head.
I'm about there. So,
Man, oh, I am too. Oh man.
was kind of funny. I've been working at my cabin a lot, and you can see that spray insulation stuff all over
Oh
my
yeah.
fingers.
Uh-huh. Look like the painted fingernails.
I noticed a while ago, and I was like, I like orange a lot, but I don't like wearing it on my body
Yeah.
necessarily.
Yeah, it can't be good for you, Brad. Come on, be careful. Is that place about done yet?
No, no,
No.
we've got drywall in.
Yeah. Oh, there we
We're
go.
down.
Hey, that's a big step right there.
We got drywall
Gotcha.
in.
You gonna mud and tape it? No, you ain't.
No, no, I'm not.
No,
I'm
no, no.
definitely not that talented. Uh, we're gonna try to have that finished up this weekend, though. So we're moving to paint here real soon.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
definitely. It's consuming some of my fishing time, so I'm ready to get
They
done with
say
it.
there's a saying, I might completely butcher it here, but the mud and tape will make you the carpenter you ain't.
Hmm. I've never heard that
Mud.
one.
I've used the mud and tape, which putty and all that, for just trying to cover up so many blemishes when we were remodeling. My goodness.
Dang, Mike, he's calling out Lovelace, Bernard beat Chris Lovelace. That's just part of the tournament fun there.
Oh yeah, that's a good time for sure. I
Man,
think
Mike.
yeah, that's good for them. That's good.
Uh,
That's why I wasn't there. Y'all would have whooped me. Then I get made fun of.
Trent says, "What's y'all's opinion on how the bite is when they cut off the spillway?" For me, I like a little bit of current, and I think that's what kind of happens back in the months of August and September when we have such low current.
Hmm.
Those fish just do not bite as well. I like a current in the lake. I like a lot of current certain
Ugh.
times of the year. This
Uh,
wintertime, I like a lot of current.
in the
Uh,
wintertime even?
hmm
Wow.
About
Yeah, man.
January, give me all the current you could throw at it.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I don't mind either one as long as it's gonna be a consistent deal. I can't stand when one day you're getting a lot of current, the next you're not, and it's kind of fluctuating. But as long as you get more of a consistent pattern, I think I could figure it out
Hmm
for sure.
Yeah, what about those core lakes up there, Trip? How does it affect Grenada, Enid, and Sardis? That'd be
I
interesting
think
too.
I remember him. I can't remember. I think when they say they shut it off, it shuts the bite off too. But
Yeah,
I'm not positive about that. I've fished Grenada a good handful of times, but I remember them saying, I believe, like if they shut it, they're pulling right now. If they shut it off, the bite will shut off too, or
yeah.
it's one or the other. It completely zaps them. So I think you're right.
And I know Dustin even fringed a little bit when I said, "Give me all the current you can throw me at,"
Yeah, I know.
and the reason why is,
You know
you
all the
get
honey
into
holes though. You've been around all these ancient years and you figured out all the spots like when there's current, this is where we go. See, then I gotta keep going around looking and everything like that.
you've been doing it long enough. You should know by
Oh yeah.
now.
Okay, yes, sir. Fine, whatever. If I just
For
listen to
us,
you,
well, that would help you a lot. But
huh?
you know, for me, I like current in the wintertime because I know the fish are going to want to be in the deeper water, and I know they're going to want to be in the eddy
Legends.
areas, ledges, and not really even ledges. They want to be out of that current. So if it's rushing through the lake and it's cold water, they're going to be in just about three or four good spots.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's true. It really
and they will be
congregates the fish.
unbelievable. It will
Yeah,
concentrate them, thicker than
yeah,
fleas.
yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Isn't that your state bird out there?
That's the mosquito.
Oh, mosquito. Yeah,
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 that's a mosquito.
yeah.
195 likes, guys. We'll get a few more there. He says, hey, got here, Dustin. What should I do when the crappies slow down around 12 o'clock?
Well, go home. No, man, yeah, go to lunch and then get out there about 2 o'clock. There's like a lull in the midday. So, man, if it's noon and them crappie are slowed down like that, you better have caught all the fish by noon and just go home. But
Mhm.
man, I don't know. I just keep moving. I have new areas. Noon, sometimes they like the shade. In Grand Lake, y'all be running to docks and getting into brush and shadier areas because or in the wintertime, this time of year, they're going to be sunning, coming out and wanting more sun. So I just be beat bopping around and seeing change profile, everything else. Just start brainstorming.
Shane, he's asking, are they doing any good at Washington? I know it used to be good in November. It used to be fantastic in November. I did know of a
Have you
guy
even
fish,
fished Washington in a while?
not since probably early March.
I was going to say, I
Uh,
bet it's a long time.
I'm out there every weekend right now, but
Yeah, you ain't fishing.
just on the bank watching. But I know
Yeah.
of one guy. I heard only three fish caught by one guy last week, so I don't think it's turned on by no means.
Uh-uh.
Did not make me want to hook my boat and bring it back up there or anything.
Yeah. Which they're probably just telling you that, Brad.
It could
It's like
be.
it's like all the hunters out here. We all know we lie to each other. We just we
Mhm.
just accept the fact. We don't tell each other what we're actually seeing or doing.
I get it. Trent says, "Yep, shuts it down. Takes time for them to adapt.
What it was.
I like the lake to have some current. It seems like with no current, the fish go to the bottom. Very similar. I haven't noticed the bottom part, but I would not doubt it. To me, it seems like with no current, they scatter more. You know,
Yeah, I noticed that too, for
I think
sure.
they just really scatter all through the water column.
Hmm. I can agree to that.
Let's see. Hopefully, I told you probably not the news y'all wanted to hear about Washington, but that's exactly what I heard.
Yeah. Hey, if you ain't
Uh,
fished it since March, that should tell you all you need to know. Brad will
well, the
be out
lake's
there when it's
been
good.
it's been really low. some of this rain we've gotten over the last couple of weeks, you could put in, not at my boat ramp yet, but at some of the public ramps, I think you could use it pretty good. But for the most part, it really hadn't been a lot of people fishing it. And, I think she'll come back. I'm not sure when, but
Oh, she will.
she'll
She
come
will.
back.
Oh yeah. It just
Going
couldn't
out
handle
tomorrow.
Brad after all these years.
Maybe, I don't know. I didn't hurt it, I can promise. Going out tomorrow. Past 3 or 4 days have been cold, low 30s. Tomorrow is going to be in the 50s. Fishing creeks off Ohio River, southeast Indiana. Any temps, water temperature being the high 40s. Let's see. Ohio River, southeast Indiana tips. For me, is if you use a live scope, it's just going to be taking your time, getting out there and trying to locate the fish and eliminating. For me, is always about eliminating. When I put on, no matter if I fish the same lake for 6 weeks nonstop, every morning I'm going to sit there and say, all right, what do I need to eliminate right now?
Yep.
And that could be a depth of water, area of the lake, or anything else. But for me, it's just
Yeah.
eliminating things.
Yeah. I would love to tell you tips about where you're at, but every body of water is so different that your fish could be doing something completely different than what they would be here in a creek. But I would be eliminating water. You just start somewhere and start breaking it down. If you don't find fish, you at least found where they're not. So you just can keep looking and see what you can find. You're gonna be in some current. Brad would be loving that.
Hmm. Yeah, that low 40s, I would look for some kind of current, especially in the river system. And normally, where you're going to find them in the
Get out of it.
wintertime, if you got any kind of current, they should be stacked in there. I want to tell you something funny, and I see Tim. I appreciate it. I'm so glad he reminded me. And I seen Tim set the hook Friday. Tim Smith here, he just commented. I know he's dying right now because he knows what I'm about to say to everybody. uh, Seen a boat back behind us fishing, looked over and said, "Oh, that's Tim." And all of a sudden, boy, I see him chasing a fish,
He's
and he
locked in.
sets it. He's zoned in,
Oh yeah, he sees it.
zoned in. He's doing that whole number. You see somebody, and then I see
Oh
him do
yeah.
the hook set, and all of a sudden it goes down. Hey, trolling motor,
Oh,
the line
good
and the
grief.
trolling motor.
Yes, but look, did he try to play it off like it wasn't in the trolling motor?
No, he knew he was busted. He was.
Oh, he's busted.
He even had to call me afterwards.
Man. Hey, that
I had
tells
to
me that
call you
fish was
out, Tim. It
moving.
was everybody's done it though. I mean,
Oh, you
it's
know how many
everybody's
times
done it.
I've done it? Here's a good one for you, Tim. The joke that me and Skylar have with Bobby Gordon Bates when he comes to film or do anything, I always get stuck in the trolling motor once, at least once.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is about it, but I get so zoned in and trying to find a fish and using a little short rod, and you don't realize how much the boat's moving forward and you're staying still. And man, will you think you got a shark on when that trolling
Mhm.
motor gets you got a world record
Mhm.
slab on there when that
I
trolling
said,
motor
"Man,
catches it.
he even called me up afterwards. I was like, man, I know you saw me do that, and I did see him do that." And I was like,
That's good stuff, man.
and it's one of those things that, like, you see somebody fall down, and
Mhm,
you really don't
mhm.
want to look, and you really
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
want to
you don't
acknowledge
yeah,
it.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
like,
Yeah. Because if it was you, you wouldn't want, somebody
yeah,
I
especially
would have
call
played
you
it
out on
off, though.
live stream. I
I'd have said,
mean,
"Oh, he missed I missed him." I'd have
it,
waited for you to look back away.
but he was zoned in. I seen him. He was zoned in when
Oh, yeah. You gotta be zoned in to lose it in the trolling motor.
he was zoned in on
Been
it
there,
and
done it. That's
hooked it,
funny.
and I was like, I know he hated that. I was right here
You
seeing
got
that.
into the trolling motor's personal spacing instead of the crappie.
That's right. It was just one little thing off.
Yeah, yeah,
As
yeah.
He said, "Will fish typically stay on standing timber year after year?" You know,
Oh, yeah.
crappie are always going to be on standing timber. I think some lakes
Mhm.
they're on standing timber more than others in certain
Yep.
times of the year. For me, and I'm sure there's a lot of fish in standing timber. And anybody that knows me very well is I'm not a standing timber fisherman. For me, I wish we could just rope it all off and nobody ever fishes would be fine with me because I'm not going to fish it.
Yeah,
So I'm
which is
not a big standing
crazy,
timber
crazy.
person.
Don't listen to Brad on that. Standing timber is about as fun as it can get when it's on. So don't be stubborn.
I
You
don't
just don't
fish
like.
standing timber much.
Yeah, man, I love
Um,
standing timber bite when it's going.
Mudfish FL, I'm sure that's Florida. Are you familiar with using cigar floats while longline? Some old timers swear by it for very shallow lakes in Florida. We have used floats when it come to long lining. If I was trying to get the baits, I'm gonna say a foot to 3 foot deep. Other
Wow.
than that, I always felt like I could get the baits that 3 foot and down, and I didn't really think it was necessary for me. Now I've used as light as a 1/48 ounce jigs to get them super high and pulling them about 1.3, 1.4, and at least in my imagination, that bait is right below the surface almost, especially going that speed and that light of line. Another trick that we used when it comes to getting shallow, really, really shallow for as long lining, we would up the size. Typically I like using a 6 pound mono. Sulfix is, day in and day out, one of my favorite lines to use as well. But go up to a 10 or 12 if you want to get super shallow. Give that a shot for a long line in those shallow lakes as well. May have to go to clear, especially some of that clear water. But
For sure.
8 o'clock, Dustin. So I mean, we've
We
done it.
made it.
We've done a thing.
801.
8:01.
You bet. I sure appreciate you guys. And like Brad said, hope everybody had a good Veterans Day. And I really appreciate everybody that served. And I had a dang good day as well.
Yep.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in. See you next Tuesday, Lord willing. I'll have some good fishing reports for you.
Yep, Central Standard Time every week. Make sure you invite somebody to join us next week as well. Got any questions? Write them down, and we'll be glad to answer them. We always have some great comments, and so we can't do it without the special thanks to Bobby Garland Bates for putting up with
For
Dustin
sure.
and myself. And
Me
guys, we'll
especially.
see you. We'll see
Yep.
you next Tuesday night.
Yes, sir. Y'all holla. Appreciate it.
Holla.